We've been saying to people for a long time, don't work so hard to try to make things happen. We've been saying things like, chill out and be easy about it. And then we began saying things like, just get into the vortex and then get into the vortex and then take the action. We still are saying all of those things, but we're saying it in an even more specific way these days as we say, work on your grid. Care about your point of attraction, which means care about how you feel, and then watch what happens and take it as it comes. You see. There's not anything missing. There's not anything out of alignment. The analogy that we've offered recently, frequently, is if you're sitting down at a meal that is really satisfying, you're usually not lamenting the fact that you're not over there eating that instead and over there eating that instead and over there eating that instead. And so when your life is satisfying you, you really don't need to be lamenting the fact that it's not a sexual satisfaction, that it's an intellectual satisfaction, or that it's not a relationship satisfaction, that it's a financial satisfaction. But what difference does it make in any point in time? Allow the grid to fill in. The most active vibration within you is what will fill in. So as you're deliberately finding alignment with what you've been putting into your vortex, all kinds of things will fill in. And of course, what people are wanting, what counselors would tell you all, is that you should be seeking more balance. You should be caring about all of these things of your life. There should be family, and there should be friends, and there should be lovers. And there should be things that stimulate you in terms of intellect. And we say, you have put a very well-rounded you into your vortex, and you don't need to worry about getting out of balance with that well-rounded person. That well-rounded you will be inspired as you concentrate on preparing your grid. We cannot say those words often enough, and those of you who have been listening to us for a while get that, because we say these words so often. Prepare the grid. Work on your point of attraction, period. Everything else will take care of itself. And that's what we meant when we said you've put so many factors and so many requests into your vortex, you don't need to ever worry about running out of impetus of life. But it's not running out of impetus of life that's going wrong with most people. It's not preparing their grid so that what they've put there can't line up with where they are. So when the grid is trying to fill in, and it always is because you're asking, and your frequency is here and your grid is here, then that's when it feels uncomfortable. And that's when you want to use words like greed, or words like promiscuity, or words like I'm doing something inappropriate, because it feels inappropriate to feel like that. You see. Anytime you feel an emotion that doesn't feel good, it always means something really important for you to know. And that is, your source has a different opinion about the very thing you're focused upon. A different opinion. So when you feel really bad about something, stop and ask yourself, as best you can, what is it that I'm doing here? Because if you were focused upon your own abundance, you would not have had that negative emotion. If you had been desiring well-being of others, you would not have had that negative emotion. And we just want to point out to you that while some of it is because you think you were doing things that you shouldn't maybe have been doing, that the majority of that negative emotion is because you were focused upon yourself in a derogatory way. And when you focus upon yourself in a derogatory way, you are never, ever going to get the agreement of Source when you do it. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd just step back from that word a bit and stop throwing it out there. We know that it's a really popular thing in a world where few have abundance and most don't. That it's really a bandwagon that people will pile on fast. Oh, let's all get on this bandwagon and let's call the rich greedy, because you can go a long way with that in terms of getting others to agree with you around you. But it defies the laws of the universe as we know them to be. Because what it implies is that people do not have the individual ability. What it says is that there is assertion which there is not. What it says is that it is possible for you to deprive someone else of their abundance, and that is not true either. In other words, there's a flaw in that. There's a flaw in your basic premise that is at the heart of that discomfort that you are feeling. We think you're misreading that. We're not saying you should get back into Wall Street, and we're not saying that everything that everyone does anywhere is appropriate by all standards, or maybe even by most standards. But we are saying that beating yourself about the head and neck with the club is not serving you. One of the primary reasons that we've been so delighted with analogies that we offer, like the vortex, and now like the grid, is because it helps you to understand the law basis behind everything that you're experiencing in a way that can begin to help it make more sense for you. So a lot of people, rather than trying to figure out the vibrational basis of things, are more aware of what they are offering in terms of action or behavior. And that's what you're doing here, rather than so much in terms of the way you feel, and we'll guide you a little bit in that here in a minute. You're talking about, I did this, and then 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 I did this, and once I did this, then this happened, and once I did this, then this happened. And what we want you to start thinking about a little bit more, we've been saying to a lot of people on a lot of topics, is don't try to fill your grid in. Don't stand in the absence of something that you want. You're trying to figure out, well, I should be doing this. I shouldn't be disinterested in sex. That's not normal for a sexual being like myself, and for someone who has had such pleasure from it. That's not normal for me. And yet I'm not called to it, because that's the best thing about a discussion about sexuality. Napoleon Hill wrote a chapter in a book years ago called Sexual Transmutation in his Think and Grow Rich book. And the reason that he took the subject of sexuality as such a key piece in his book is because that was a subject that he knew that most people understood what that sexual calling is. In other words, it's something that when it calls, all logic goes out the window, nothing else makes any difference. In other words, you can legislate it, you can chop people's heads off for it. Teenagers are still going to be back in their cars having sex. And the reason is because the calling is a very, very strong calling. And we want to put into the context of it's the grid filling in. In other words, lots that you put into your vortex when you get up to speed with it. And we're not saying that every sexual experience is the grid filling in. But when it's really good sex, it is the grid filling in. When you're really feeling strong about it. And so really what this conversation is more about is that you had other things that were more active in your vibration that the grid was filling in about. And so there isn't anything out of alignment in the fact that your grid is filling in one area of your life and maybe not in another. You see what we're getting at? So then you go along and you were consumed by your discomfort while you were working there in Wall Street. And then you felt the calling to do something else. You really didn't even know what you were going to do. You just knew it wasn't going to be that. And then the ideas kept coming as you came more into alignment with who you are. The ideas kept coming. And as you get more in alignment with who you are, the sexual calling always comes stronger when you're more in alignment with who you are. Just don't be so ready to fill the grid in. Let the grid fill in. Stay focused upon the things that are exciting you, and know that, again, you've put enough in your grid relative to sexuality to keep yourself busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. You don't need to worry about having to keep that actively alive. It's in your vortex. And when the timing is right, you see, this is the thing that's most significant. You've put all kinds of things, as you've had interaction with different people, conversations, even things that don't have anything to do with sexual interaction. You are defining who you are and who you like to be with and how you like it to feel. A sexual relationship is much more than the physical intertwining. It's about the intellect of the person. It's about the vibration of the person. It's about how this person is in relationship with their inner being. It is so much more complicated than just, I see you and you're the one that I'm choosing and now I'm going to find a way to have this experience with you. It's way more complicated than that. So we've been saying a lot recently that when you really hear us, and you have been, and you really get that your work is about the preparation of your grid, period, which means not pinpoint the specifics of the subjects that you want to live in specific detail, but find as much fun as you can find, and as much love as you can find, as much appreciation as you can find, and as much satisfaction as you can find, and as much comfort as you can find, and as much well-being as you can find. Reach for thoughts and behaviors that feel good to you. And as you come into more and more consistent alignment, it is our promise to you that everything that you've been putting into your vortex will congeal in the most precise way and deliver itself to you in a way that you can't miss it. Just like what you've just experienced relative to your work. It's just like that. Now think about someone like that who has been living and flowing into the vortex, sending the rocket, sending the rocket, sending the rocket, surrounding themselves with others who have stimulating ideas. So sending off the rocket, sending off the rocket, sending off the rocket, sending off the rockets. Attending forums, talking with people in the know, having stimulating conversations, all satisfying and stimulating, but in the process giving birth to rocket, 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 rocket. And then somehow finding alignment with what they've created in their vortex and the idea flowing. An idea that when the idea flows, they feel the magnitude of it. You can't feel the magnitude of a little idea. That's why step one matters so much. You want to parlay your vortex into high-flying, really strong, powerful desires. And then when you come into alignment with that, the magnitude of the feeling lets you know without any doubt that you have an idea that is worth pursuing. Nothing can keep you from following up on an idea like that. And then, of course, the ideas come and come and come and come. We're not just talking about an idea. The success of those that you are speaking of didn't come from one idea. They didn't just stumble on an idea and then set it into motion. Those ideas kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. Right place, right time, right place, right time, right place, right time, right place, right time. Kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. There are thousands of decisions that were made and are still being made in the process of that evolution of that, you see. We want you to think of the fun, and this is so what we want you to hear. Because this is what most people don't know about those people that you are talking about. Because most people who are standing on the outside of a creation like that think that, they just stumbled on an idea and then their fun started. Their fun started long before that idea hatched. They were having fun in the sifting and sorting. They were having fun in the speculation. They were having the fun in the picking the minds of others. They were having fun in the dreaming of what could be. They were having fun in the launching of the rockets. They were having fun in the tuning themselves into the alignment of it. You see, it's not just the culmination of something, because there never is a culmination. It looks like that to you if you're on the outside of it. Bam! It looks like boom! It just happened for that person. But the fun is in the molding of the energies, you see. It would be like someone creating a magnificent statue, and you say, it must be really fun now that this is complete. And any artist would tell you, not that much fun now. Sort of done with that. But I'd sure like to show you the clump of clay I'm working on now. Say, well, that clump of clay doesn't look like much. I know, but this is where all the fun is. It's where all the fun is. The fun is in the becoming. The fun is in the discovery. The fun is in the alignment. The fun is in the new idea. The fun never stops, you see. It never stops. And so those people that you're speaking of, they still are flowing. They still are adding to it. And if they're not, then their whatever it was that they created is diminishing. We've enjoyed this interaction more than you know, more than you can know, because you can't stand in the precise vibration of that which we are in your physical form. You can come close so that you can feel it in general terms. You can feel the exhilaration that we felt. You can feel the appreciation that we feel for you. You can feel the anticipation that we feel for you. So you're getting a general sense of what it is like for us to anticipate what's coming for you. But our appreciation of you is significant because we are focused upon your willingness to come into an environment where you're willing to explore the combinations of creators, the circumstances of events, some of them wanted and some of them not wanted. And you're willing to give birth to new desires. You're willing to allow yourself to want beyond what you're currently experiencing. And then, for those like you, you're willing to do something even more. You're not only willing to expose yourself to the contrast that causes you to give birth to new ideas, not just new to you, but new to all that is. You're willing to participate in a forum where you can begin to consciously contemplate personal vibrational maneuvering, personal vibrational focusing. You're willing to care about how you feel and willing to think because you want to establish a feeling from the thought. That's a significant difference in the way much of the world is.